This is a bit of an odd time and, quite frankly, a pretty public place for my first confessional, and particularly coming from a non-observant Jew. But the reality is that I've spent most of my adult life chasing my career goals. Sure, I've talked a good game about trying to do more non-business productive activities for my community. I participated in an occasional Christmas gift wrapping exercise for those less fortunate. But the truth of the matter is that my efforts to date have been pretty feeble. But sometimes things happen for a reason and serendipity strikes. About a year and a half ago, my wife of 14 years, Laura, was paired randomly with a new tennis partner. They hit it off, no pun intended, and stuck around after the match to talk. The conversation meandered from topic to topic, and eventually Nancy, Cannon O'Donnell, who's sitting in the back of the room, her tennis partner, mentioned a local philanthropic group called SVP, Silicon Valley Social Ventures, that piqued Laura's interest. A few hours and a few web searches later, I got a call at my office from Laura asking if I knew of the organization. I didn't, but of course, like all good venture capitalists do, I immediately went to the team page of the website to do some research, and I was amazed, and quite frankly, I was actually embarrassed to learn that SV2 was the brainchild of the wife of one of my partners. As a side note, I think you'll hear from her, Laura Arriaga Andreessen, later as part of this conference. So definitely interesting, but since I'd managed successfully to put off any real philanthropic or community involvement to date, I figured I'd be able to do the same with SV2. But as any good husband would do, I'd support my wife and make an obligatory appearance at the upcoming annual meeting. But in the back of my mind, I was confident that this too shall pass. So with that pathetic opening, why am I here today talking to you? Well, the truth of the matter is something happened on the way to trying to simply placate my wife. That something is, we did go to the annual meeting, and I found something that I honestly did not think existed. It was a perfect confluence of all the things that, had I actually spent any time thinking about it, I wanted in an organization. It was a community of like-minded individuals, not with a single-mindedness, but with a single-minded interest in combining financial giving with talent giving. It was a social outlet, not just a group of random people with whom to share a nice meal, but with a common sense of purpose and a stated desire to do more with their lives than many of them, including myself, had actually done to date. And it was a family outlet. It was a place where my kids, 3 girls between the ages of 4 and 11, could see firsthand the impact of social giving and actually own part of the agenda for themselves. So why now, and why SV2, and why SVP? To be frank, it's as simple as it just works for us. My wife, Laura, a former teacher, loves being involved in the education grant-making process. As a result of her involvement there, she's now working directly with Breakthrough, which was an SV2 grant recipient, to help at-risk kids navigate their way to post-high school education. A few weeks ago, my kids hosted an event at our house where we had about 10 families assembling goodie bags for children who were staying at the Ronald McDonald House as part of their stay at the Lucille Packard Children's Hospital at Stanford. Nothing fancy, and quite frankly, nothing in and of itself that will change the world, but simply a small step towards helping our children realize that the realities of a world in which they are otherwise sheltered from. So what about me, and where do we go from here? Well, I'm a believer in the model, and having seen it proved out in a variety of markets, I volunteered, along with Ruth and a number of others, to help take the show on the road. With the help of many in the organization, we've identified a number of new markets where we think SVP chapters can flourish: Austin, Raleigh-Durham, Houston, Atlanta, to name a few. We're very early, and in fact, quite frankly, we're still in the planning stages for many of these, but we believe the time is right. This is not an evangelical project, but rather, I think it's just an educational one. I'm 100% convinced that if we just educate others who don't know about the organization, we will find leaders in various markets that can help expand our platform. I invite you to join us in this effort. All things considered, not too bad for my first confessional. Thank you.